Yes, sir.
Good evening. This is LEEZFEED. My name is Lee Coleman. I'm the host. I have a very distinguished panel with me today. We're going to talk about Black businesses. I'm going to incorporate Black businesses into contractors and or at any other businesses. Okay. The panel we have here today, we're going to have them introduce themselves and we're going to get started. We'll start from my left and go right to my right.
My name is David Jackson. I'm spokesperson for the African American Business and Contractors Association.
My name is Jeff White. I am a board member of ABCA, African American Business and Contractor Association. Also, I own a union bricklaying company, JW Masonry Specialties.
Okay.
I'm Mikhail Ali, board member, president of African American Business and Contractor Association, which we call APCA, and a painting contractor, MJ Interior Finishes.
Okay. So what was your background again, sir?
I'm a spokesperson for APCA.
Okay. You from St. Louis?
I'm from St. Louis. Been in the construction community for about 35 years. I had a small construction company dealing with laborers and carpenters.
Okay. What about you? You said you
Bricklayer, born and bred, third generation. Grandfather was a bricklayer. Okay. Can I get in there a little closer?
You can get into the
All
first.
right. Grandfather was a bricklayer, stonemason. My father was a bricklayer. My son's a bricklayer, fourth generation.
Okay.
I think I came out of my mama's womb with a paintbrush. Me and my brother, and an activist, born and bred, fighting the union, fighting for inclusion for the time we were born.
I hear you.
Because it came out the old nation of Islam. So we had to stand our ground for inclusion for our people.
Okay.
And I'm proud of that.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. I'm in the same boat you're in, man.
Yes.
I'm from I did 15 years at IDOT as the EO officer in District 8. There are 9 districts in Illinois for IDOT. And Chicago, Cook County being the biggest. And District 8, my area, Metro East area, was the second largest district in the state. And we had 12 counties. And we had an annual budget. Well, not a budget, but we had projects totaling $1 billion a year in my district. And it was tough to roll the hoe with these guys here in Southern Illinois. What is your mission for your organization? Who's going to be a spokesperson here? We're going to all get you.
Well, our mission statement is what it's been with the ones that came before us, Lee. The last hurdle is fighting for economic inclusion, a piece of this economical pie. We built America. We built America, and we built it for free. So it's our day and time to fight, and that's a shame that we got to fight for inclusion for the economical dollar, and mainly to control the economics in our community. But we do draw the line that any public dollars that's doing some development, we should be getting our fair share of that. It shouldn't be buildings being built with TIF money, with public dollars, and you don't have our people in there. From the developing side to the GC side to the workforce side. And in 2024, they still saying like they can't find no qualified Black folks. You found a whole lot of them in 1555 when they built America. So that's basically our mission statement, to get our fair share.
Okay, I thought we had that fight. We're doing it again?
We're doing it all over.
We had that fight?
50 years later,
Yes.
we're at the same table.
So we had Title, with the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which included Title VI, and with all these CFRs and all this stuff. And here we are again in 2024. You know what I think we dropped the ball, though?
Where do you think, Lee?
Well, I don't think people our age, I don't think we emphasized enough to our younger generation what our ancestors went through to get us where we are now. Still struggling, but fighting, but did make some progress. When I go to the wire every morning about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got young brothers and sisters walk past me and won't speak. I'm your ancestor. You didn't walk in that door a few years ago. Don't be for the struggle myself and other folks. Right. You see that L on the wall over there? Right. You remember Little Rock 9?
Yes.
Okay, it was 57, right? Can you believe, I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, right? Can you believe in 1965, 7 or 8 years later, I had to do the same thing in a school in East St. Louis called Lansdowne Junior High. The same thing happened in Little Rock,
Yeah.
happened with us.
Yeah.
Run home every day.
Yeah.
They chasing you, calling your names.
Yeah.
We had to do that. Do you know they had a Lansdowne Alumni Association? I saw it on Facebook. I said, wow, that's nice. So I wrote them and I said, you want to know the history of that? You guys graduated like what, 78 and 80 and 90? Okay, you want to know the history? Nobody got back to me.
Mhm.
I'm the reason why I talked to a lady the other day, and she said she graduated from Lansdowne. So did Senator Claiborne right there on that picture. I said, did you have to run home? She said, no, I did it for you in 65.
Right, man.
See what I'm saying? So we didn't educate our kids
No,
Right.
no.
about the struggles of the Harriet Tubmans and Martin Luther Kings and all these people.
Right.
What they put their lives on the line for. And here we are now in 2024. And you got black kids who vote for Trump.
Ain't that something?
What do you think they did that?
Well, I call it because they're ignorant to their culture. That's why they voted for. They were ignorant to their
What
culture.
do you think?
Well, I believe the same
Lean in
thing.
there. Lean up in there.
Sorry, I believe the same thing that Dave said. I believe that somewhere along the line there was a disconnect between the 60s and the 70s, the early 70s, and now, where the struggle was to get to a point. And when they killed our two biggest, most important leaders, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, we never did replenish that stock. We never did get anybody to come back up to that forefront and keep saying we the people, talking about black people. We stopped there. We were struggling for 5 things. We were struggling for economy. We were struggling for education. We were struggling for police not whooping on our heads. And then we were struggling for church. Well, we got them all, except what? We didn't get this police. They still whooping on our heads. Economy, we just started splintering ourselves. We got to the point where we bit into the American dream. The American dream ain't for us. It's for them.
Right.
They and our kids now believe in the American dream. They don't believe in the struggle of a black man and a black woman in the 60s, 70s, and 20s and 30s. My father ran home. And I'm not trying to take up everybody's time, but my father ran home because he was kidnapped in the cotton fields of Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a white woman came out and said, "Is he the nigga?" You know, and she said no. Now if all she had to do was say what?
That's right. Until.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's hung.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. But he told me, and I told my kids.
Yeah.
But you are right. We're not passing it on. And our kids now today, they got to the point where they believe even my sons, I have to remind my sons and daughters, don't believe in this American dream. You got to fight. You still got to be number one because they ain't sharing nothing with us.
Right. What do you think?
They have no respect for the female species. They don't think a female is equal to a male. They'd rather take a criminal with all his flaws and make him president, where the woman, I ain't saying she perfect, but she ain't as horrible as that human being. And it's a twofold thing. Also, what Jeff said and what you said, these kids don't understand the struggle, ain't trying to hear about the struggle, and don't want to know nothing about how they got where they got. They just think it was popped up on them. So my parents shared, especially my father, because his family came from Whitesville, Tennessee. And that said everything.
Said everything.
Yeah. And they left out of Whitesville to keep my father's brother from being lynched. Because he had a fight, a regular fight, with a Caucasian boy his age, and my Uncle Claude was good with his hands. And he whooped the white boy. So my grandfather said, we leaving the farm, we packing up, and we easing out here in the middle of the night. Well, that story constantly came down. I gave it to my son. We want to forget about that pain and don't want to share that pain. with our kids, but the Jews share their pain. And how they got where they got, the Greeks share their pain. It's part of your development, so that don't happen again. That's why it keeps happening to us.
You know, one thing, everybody are afforded the opportunity to share their pain and say never again. But blacks, when we say that, then you're complaining and you're bitching.
That's
and,
right.
you know, and you're playing a race card. But we should have been relentless in teaching our children about our past. And one thing I fought us for, we let the kids take rap and kill soul music.
Yes.
Ooh,
We should have fought that thing.
that's dangerous.
Yes.
We let the rap music since the black men that voted for Trump are 50 and over.
Mhm.
Hip hop came in 73.
Mhm.
So that's 51 years ago.
Yeah.
You got, you know, kids walking, I'm a school teacher where I taught school. Yeah, bringing his son to school with his pants hanging down below his butt.
Yeah.
You know, now they're grandfathers.
Yeah.
Another thing we did, I don't know where you guys stand on it, but I stand against it. We've aborted 20 million black babies since Roe v. Wade. And I got black men walking around here saying, and black women, it's a choice. Well, it's my body. Well, I'm gonna go back to my contract specialist days. A contract is a handshake. It's honored by the court. It's a signed
That's right.
agreement between two or more people.
Yeah.
And it's a verbal.
It's work.
So when she consented to have that, you know, to have sex, she basically considered that if there's a baby coming, then we're in the contract together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what gives her the right to abort my baby without my consent?
Right.
So it's not, they're preaching this thing that it's not, it's her body.
Yeah.
And then they deem it as health care. Well, let's do it this way. When you do your research, you find out that rape, incest, and health of the mother, those abortions equal 2% of all abortions done.
Mm-hmm.
2%. So they're one that snatching all the brothers and sisters. You said we ain't got no Malcolms? Maybe one of those 20 me was Malcolm.
Yeah.
Maybe one with Meg Evers.
Right.
So they got a suction machine sucking the babies out, turning the body parts up. When they get through taking the parts that they use for medicine and other things, then they dispose of them. Human beings. 20 million black babies. In 1960, blacks outnumbered Hispanics. I think we're like 15 million blacks, 18.8 million blacks, and about 5 million Hispanics in this country.
Not anymore.
But check it out. You go to 2000, they spotted us. Now they're 61 million, and we're 41 million. 20 million black babies aborted.
That's
And
correct.
where's the black preachers and the black leaders talking about abortion? We run into this thing about a zygote, about a fetus or an embryo. Guess what? If you look at the definition of those words, they all got human being inherent in their definition.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the preachers at? Who's mad?
That's a good
Who's
question.
mad about these babies being aborted?
Right.
Don't you have economic power when you have numbers?
That's correct.
Don't we have more great minds when we have numbers?
That's correct.
And they say, well, you know what? I heard Dr. Ritchie say this. And I heard Onion Horton say this one time. Well, they ain't going to take care of the baby. Who's going to take care of the baby? See that lady right there? She had 9 of us. See that picture? It's 9 of us on that picture.
Yeah.
It ranged from age 76 to 64. I didn't see any door toilet until I was 11 years old. We had a warm water heater in the middle room.
Yeah.
That's where everybody got warm. The other rooms are cold. Our water froze from the winter and they thawed into March. Well, maybe she should have killed all of us.
Yeah. Mm.
It's about 6 degrees in my family.
Yeah.
Okay? I got 3 degrees. So maybe she should have killed me because she didn't know, well, he's not going to make it because we're poor, we're in poverty, and they didn't pass the Wicks bill or whatever. I said, damn it, give me a chance. I'll show you something.
That's right.
I went to one of the biggest schools in the country. I'm not bragging. I went to the University of Illinois. And I made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I got an associate degree in addiction counseling. I got an associate degree in automotive technology. I'm a certified school teacher. So maybe mama should have aborted me because she felt she couldn't make it. She didn't. And there's 9 of us now still alive, man.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
9 of us. So we gotta come back home and do like the other races do, you know. Nobody's born more babies per capita than black women.
Right.
But we're afraid to say something because of political correctness.
But also too, Lee, I think that those young people between the ages of 18 and 26, we've lost. I don't see nothing we can do to turn them around. We ought to be concentrating on those 5, 8, 10-year-olds.
Really, I won't throw them away because
Well, I don't say throw them away.
but we can't give up on them because let me tell you something. Maybe they haven't heard it said the right way. Maybe you can convince me. I go to his class, I served. I got some kids, you know, this some ruckus guys, man. But let's, like Teddy Pendergrass said, maybe we need to teach them in another way. We got to find a way to get to those students
I can agree.
that are getting away from
I can
us.
agree.
What have we done to get to them? You know, we can get to them. Somebody got to me.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in East St. Louis, at the poor side of town, with hardly anything. But you know, I made it. But anyway, let's get back to your thing here. What types of businesses do you guys represent?
Contractors and business,
Mhm.
African American business, period. Most of our members as of now are contractors.
Okay.
Are contractors. And the board is made of contractors. We have a slogan for the contractors by the contractors. In the past, different organization, not to slight them, but people that was running, they weren't contractors.
Mhm.
And they were speaking in our behalf and don't know the pains that we go through. We know the pains that business people and contractors go through. So that's how we made up. Matter of fact, who established it? Did you remember my brother, Larry Ali?
I may have.
Yeah. Before on his deathbed, they wanted this established because they have an Africa in Chicago.
I know about those guys.
Yeah, Omar Sharif.
Omar, no. Is Omar out now? I mean, he went down.
Yeah, he went down.
Yeah.
Omar went down. Matter of fact, Crystal. I talk to Crystal all the time, who was Omar's assistant.
I don't remember. I do remember Omar because I met him several times.
Yeah, so I felt it was time for me to make that change from MoCan, you know, because after a while, you begin to see something.
You lose your way.
Yeah, and this was constantly spinning our wheels, right? And so we established Africa, and then we kept moving. Eric was involved with us.
Eric
Vickers, late great Eric Vickers, may he rest in peace. And then we started getting a good board. You know, Dave, Jeff came on board. So nobody could speak for us but us. We won't allow it, you know. And we want to build generation wealth. And of course, I ain't got to tell you, it ain't going to come without a fight. So, because now, and I want Dave to speak on that, what's going on with this diversity thing that they trying to cut out the disparity, and we have to come together. Because Illinois and Missouri, they on that side, we on this side, and we ain't coming together. That plantation politics benefits the master, the white master, and some black slave masters, you know. So won't you go into it a little bit?
I want to get to that after we get to a few more things. How does a person become a member of your organization? What do they have to do?
Just call and come to a meeting. You know, of course, we do a little make sure if you either trying to be a contractor or already a contractor, so we know how to identify you. But it's nothing. There's no money. It's no money. We you know, it ain't right to take advantage of the disadvantage.
I got you.
Yeah, it's no money. Just come on in. We'll talk, and then come on in, and we're gonna put you to work.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, we're gonna put you to work.
Yeah, we're gonna put you to work. We do a annual bike giveaway for the children in the community. At White Castle, we joined forces with the St. Louis Police Department, White Castle, and was it Target last year? Walmart. And we give free bikes away. You know, on Natural Bridge and Kings Highway. And so we got with it. We did some turkeys last year. So, and then we fight to get contracts for our people. So
How are you doing that? How are you creating opportunity? I read your bio, your mission. How are you creating opportunity?
And also at the same time, we do the turkey giveaway and the bicycle giveaway. We have voters registration and we have employment opportunities,
Mhm.
either from our own members or from other entities in the construction field that we know are hiring.
Mhm.
So we
How do you get
have
that information out?
applications there.
What?
During that time of the event, we have a table set up that contain the information for the.
What just saying, how do you get it out to in the community? How do I know you have an opportunity for me for a job or?
okay, I know where you come with that one.
Yeah.
This we got a watch list now.
Mhm.
And once we know a project is coming down, we go into that developer and let them know here's our list of contractors. And we are not we're demanding participation. Or we go into first talking and if we don't talk, we have to create our opportunity by shutting the job site down.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just back to what we used to do.
But I want to go back to something that I think, I don't want to use the word us older guys don't take advantage of. And I'm a consultant for a city right now with the same stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to use social media.
We do.
Okay, good. Because you
We
know,
do.
you
Yeah.
Facebook it,
Yeah.
you YouTube it,
Yeah.
or you Instagram it, or you TikTok it.
We're TikTok. We're on Instagram.
That's what
We're
I'm
on
talking.
Facebook.
Okay, that's good. That's what I mean.
Yes.
How did people get no? Because I think when you press that button, I think it's travels faster than a person knocking on the door.
Because you sit around waiting on the reporters, you ain't gonna never
You never get that.
They kill your revolution.
And
Absolutely.
You have to add to that is, Lee, if you look at the media today, our kids are not winding themselves up in front of a TV unless it's a particular event, but they are watching that phone.
We know they
and
got
they
that.
stand on that
And
phone.
we got to get them there.
And that if we're going to communicate with the youth of our,
Go to where they are.
go where they are and meet them where they are
Yeah.
and understand where they are.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So on our Facebook page, if you could just go to AABCA STL. That's APCA STL.
Okay.
That's our page.
Okay.
And you can connect with not only us, but other folks that we work with in the community is on that page.
Have you guys considered using constant contact?
No, we haven't, but one of the guys that's on our board, he's the one that's leading this charge on social media.
Constant contact is a good tool to use because when you get the email address and you compile a list of emails, and when we call it an e-blast,
Mhm.
you press that button, it goes out to all the people on that list.
And it's called constant.
Constant contact.
And that's what we do. Every event we have a sign-up sheet
Mhm.
that we ensure that all the adults sign that sheet, which will include your phone number and or your email address.
Okay, here's something that that's my 15 years that I died. And I'm gonna get you guys a copy of it. It said how to evade affirmative action officers. And it's like the Willie Lynch letter.
Mm.
Okay. And it tells how contractors avert minority participation. And I don't want to go through it now, but I got to make sure you guys get a copy of it
Okay.
because it's something to look at. But you know, getting back to what you said a few minutes ago, who's the Hispanic leader? Who has the Hispanic leader been in over the past years? You don't have one. Who's the Jewish, so quote unquote Jews, because those people that call themselves Jews now,
Right.
those are Ashkenazis, they're Eastern European, they speak Yiddish.
Right.
The Semites are black as me.
Right.
Okay, so let's deal with that.
Yeah.
So the so-called Jews, who's been that leader over the past years in the community fighting for their rights?
You got BB over there.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Okay, Martin Luther King was not an elected official.
Right.
So you said our leaders got shot.
Right.
In the same vein, who has been a leader for the Hispanics, the so-called Jews, the whites? Who's been a leader?
Strangely enough, we just had this conversation and the Hispanics, at least that we know in the St. Louis area, they look to organizations like ours.
But here's what I'm trying to get down. Those groups are doing way better than us when it comes to cohesiveness.
Yes.
It's
They are
coming together.
galvanized.
Okay, now, they don't have a leader. They don't have a Martin Luther King. They don't have a Malcolm X. We don't need a leader. What we need is a philosophy that permeates throughout our society. And if they kill you, it keeps going. They can't kill a leader.
Yeah.
Because we got it embedded like this. I saw some videos of some so-called Jewish kids throwing rocks and stuff at a Christian lady. I'm not either. I'm not.
I got you.
I'm just saying they're together. They're against. They're throwing bottles and bricks at them and calling them names because they believe in a philosophy that has permeated throughout their whole existence. We don't have that.
No.
We got Malcolm over here. We have Martin over there. You know, which one is it?
But
they
let me ask you
one
a
voice.
question, Leo. You say that with impunity, but then at the same time you say, and I'm not trying to be.
No, come on, let's deal with it. We're here to talk.
But the same you say, well, then where are these, when it comes to the abortion avenue of it, where are these preachers?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody got to be preaching something.
Okay, here's what I'm saying about the preachers.
They got to be leading something. Somebody got to be saying something.
But it should be a unified voice.
I'm not disagreeing.
Not just one guy.
Somebody got to be saying.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, I'm not saying don't teach that. I'm saying, but we should live our philosophy that we teach our children from the time they can understand. And now we become one. Because those other communities, they stick together.
You
They stick together. It could be the preachers that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, somebody got to be saying.
I agree. The only meeting we have regularly in this community is with the church. Regularly.
Yes.
Okay, so where are they?
And based on our history, when you look back, like we just go back, we ain't got to go past King. When the messenger died, the movement died.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
And we just had the anniversary. I don't want to say the anniversary, but the passing of Fred Hampton is something he would quote. You could kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
And they've been able to kill our revolution by killing our.
Not revolutionary.
We got to
get past that.
And I'm saying those groups that have influence, the ball players, the entertainers, they don't have to be leaders, but they should be galvanizing.
Yes.
You know, for educational purposes.
Yeah.
To tell our kids, they have the funds. They have the wherewithal. They wouldn't. I would tell my nephew, man, you know these rappers, man. I said, man, they're not doing anything.
Listen.
Time was sold for $63 million. How many rappers you got? Jay-Z and Beyonce, billionaires.
Billionaires.
Kanye is a billionaire. So what are you doing? The ball players. I just got to talking to a friend of mine about opportunities in Africa. Man, they're begging. Some countries are begging for African Americans to get involved. You got China and Russia over there. United States just gave them $1 billion on some kind of road and got military people in there. The most basic minerals in the world are in an abundance in Africa. A cell phone, you got Colton, right? You don't have a cell phone or a computer without Colton. That's in Africa exclusively. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that we've got to teach our children. We've got to reach those 18 and 16 years old too and bring them back into the fold. I tell you what, if we can show them that we're about some business, we'll get some of them. Not all of them, maybe.
Yes.
But they look at us like, you know, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you know that an organization or a job does not have the proper amount of inclusion? What's your measurement?
Well, first of all, one of the things that we do separate from the other organizations out there, we advocate only with the owners of the development. We have found out that sometimes when you go to the general contractor, what you're talking about is falling on deaf ears.
You say you go back to the owner.
So we deal strictly with the owner of the property, of the development, of whatever project is coming up, because he pays that general contract.
Right.
And we've been successful with that.
Okay.
One of the ways that we find out that there's no participation on the project is we actually visit the property. You could sit outside a project at 7 o'clock in the morning and see who enters that job site.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see too many of us.
You know, when I was EO officer, I heard That's the measuring stick that most people use. I drove by the site, I didn't see anybody black. Okay, you got projects in 90 days. Maybe you go back to the first day. Maybe that's the day that the bulk of the work is not doing by the majority of other people,
Right.
as inclusive. Certified payrolls.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is we got to get it,
Gotta get what?
the certified payroll. And SLDC is not going to give us the certified payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fight. That's why we're here.
And that's what another subject we're gonna talk about. We got a black government over there who's not enforcing what's in the law. So much participation and won't share it like they're supposed to with the public. If that project is getting so much TIF from the city, you got 20%, you got 30%. They keep it and they let the developer and the GC commit the crime of not having us on the job. So that's another fight we're fighting. We fought all our lives for leadership, but as King said, and I remember when I was youngster, he said, when we get leadership, we got to take the moral high road. Our black leadership done sold us out. Now we could holler about we don't need to be saying that to white folks and what they know who they got. They know better than we do. That's why they help them. So we got a black mayor, and we got to protest her, and that's what we've been doing. And there's an election coming up, and I agree with King. This is now about the content of the character. Because she white don't mean she ain't going to do what she's supposed to do, the right thing, because it's a law in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel more comfortable with this candidate than the existing mayor, who is black, who we starving over there in her hands. So the young lady who's the older woman, Kara Spencer, AFCA has endorsed her. And of course, we're getting a lot of flack from black folks telling you to cross that line. Well, she doing the same thing the white mayors was doing, and you was up, but you ain't upset with her. It doesn't matter if the robber that robbed you is black or white. It's a robber.
Right.
Okay? You mad at the robber. So we being robbed of our participation and our inclusion dollars with city taxpayer. So that's another thing we've been doing. We've been going along with this mess for too long because the color of their skin, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Too long. And that's why a lot of times our kids, a lot of reasons why they not respecting what they're saying. They seeing us tolerate this mess, not just off of Caucasian, but of the leadership that we got with preachers, some imams, some everybody. Instead of standing up and saying, right is right and wrong is wrong. And our communities look like some in Gaza.
You know, another thing, one of my pet peeves is there was you got to remember Pygmy Markham?
Yes.
You remember Pygmy? I remember Pygmy Markham and Baby Seals were on the corner, the hustling spot, and this beautiful woman comes up, and Pygmy Markham claimed her, and so did Baby Seal. So they got into a fight verbally about the woman. So Pygmy came with the great idea. Let's split her. Let's So Pygmy convinced Baby Seal to take her from the legs down, the knees down, and left Pig with the knees up. Okay, but he made Baby Seal fight for that leg down, which wasn't much left after that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they do to us. We need to fight for the professional services, the engineering, the land acquisition, and those things.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We let them get away with that.
Right.
That's the big buck.
That's the real thing. Me and Dave was talking about on the way over.
So they gave us the knees down. They got to fight like hell over that.
Yeah.
They got the knees up. They got land acquisition. They got legal. They got engineering, architecture. We got to talk. Those are professional services. And then there's construction is another thing. Then we got the workforce, which is another thing. So I think we have to fight for all of those things equally as hard because we got black engineers and architects.
But can I add to that, though, Lee? I have to look at it from a little bit different perspective, being on the bricklaying side of things out there in the grunge. when our kids travel by a job site and they see them, then they don't see us, then they believe this is not for me because I don't see me out here. And if I'm going to try to reach somebody that's 18, 19, and I'm not looking for somebody out of a pre-apprentice program. There's no such thing as pre-apprentice.
That's right.
You either apprentice or you're not.
My brothers agree with me on that. I just had it.
We all come up with this craziness called pre-apprentice.
That's a hustle they
You know
got.
what I mean? That's just a hustle.
Yeah.
So what I look at it from a little bit different. I agree with you. I'm not disagree that we have to go for you know, what I mean? I'm gonna say this. I want to change it to the point that if on the books that it says that you're gonna have 22% boots on the ground. That's across the board. So that's not only meaning Jeff White gonna bring 20 his portion of it, but you're gonna make the white contractor go out here and get some blacks, and you're gonna make the electrician and the carpenter and all the HVAC guy and the plumber and all these contractors that come there and say, look, you gotta have boots on the ground. But see, we didn't learn to do new work. Those rich people you say that the specialty service, what'd you call them a minute ago?
Professional services.
They got new work. They taught how to do. They call waivers. See, they pay for the waivers. So we got to get boots on it.
Explain the waiver to the public.
Waiver meaning is they go to our politicians and pay for it. They say, look, we don't know enough blacks. We can't find enough enough construction blacks. We don't know enough people that we can go out here and hire to become plumbers and electricians.
But here's
but what they do is they pay our politicians to give them a waiver.
Okay.
They waive them out.
Okay. See, that's a totally different take on my understanding of. Okay, first of all, are you talking about MoDOT?
I'm talking about
the city.
the city of St. Louis.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do they have an affirmative action program that spells out?
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to waivers, now you're looking at two different things. Now, when you're talking about a public project that's basically out of the realm of the Federal Highway Administration.
No.
Okay, you're talking about city stuff.
Right. In the city, it's just like Jeff says, and when you say there's three components to construction: the professional services, the hard general contracting, and then the labor force.
Delay.
In the city, there's a rule that anybody that does any public project has to do 25% in minority contracts and 5% in women's contracts.
Boots on the ground.
AFCA don't believe in the 25 and 5. We look at the whole pie. We rather concentrate on the 75% and able to survive rather than going after the little crumbs. That is important.
So how do you get to 75%?
You get to 75% by our membership. Of course, we notify every member that we have that this project.
You're talking about when you set the goal. Who sets the goal in St. Louis?
The goal is set by law at the board.
20 and 25
and
5. That's
20%, 21%
Workforce.
so okay.
So that's already written into the board bill. That's
Yes.
already a signed bill. That's already been in works to law. And then they've learned, we're wrong.
Right. Because the entity that's supposed to monitor those, because
Yeah.
they have to fill out, the general contractor has to submit to this entity the daily workforce and the monthly expenditure of funds on the project. That's how we know if they're in line for the 25 and 5.
Who's
This is SLDC, the St. Louis Development Corporation.
they're basically the monitors.
That's correct.
Yes.
And then I've got legal
And they issued
issues to
the
it.
TIF. They issued the TIFs,
That's correct.
tax abatements. Any incentive, they're the ones that issue it to the.
Okay, so here's what he did at IDOT. If you're not going to meet your goal, you have to submit to them in writing convincing language that with evidence that have you tried to get there. And it was up to me to accept that evidence. If I didn't accept it, that was the end of it. And also we had contractors evaluation. So I was able to evaluate the contractor with reference to them meeting their goal on every project they had. And if I give a contractor a failing grade 2 consecutive years, then do you pre-qualify prime contractors?
Does SLDC do?
Anybody in St. Louis, or I know you do in Missouri, because I know IDOT does.
You know, it would be intelligent of us to tell you what SLDC does, because we don't work for SLDC, but we can tell you what we can only judge a tree by the fruit it bears. And at this present moment, we getting rotten fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's coming through SLDC, and SLDC is run by the mayor's board. The mayor. So we can only tell you, okay, I'll give you an example. So we complain about what you said. How are you monitoring these jobs? If you're not paying any attention to the certified payroll, then what else are you doing? So they said, well, we're going to give everybody on the job a tile. You know, like the little things you want to find your key, you clap on and you keep. So they said, you put this tile on your hard hat. When you walk through the door or you walk through the gate, it registers you're on the job site. That's SSODC. So then all of a sudden the GC and the developer got smart and said, well, look,
Twice.
why don't you just take this money and take that tile off their hand?
But that would kill the participation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they killed it. Now you got that same now, what you call it, help me out, been charged.
Been indicted.
Been indicted.
Do you guys have a copy of the ordinance?
Yeah, we can get it to you.
And I'm saying, so you say they're not following the ordinance.
They're not following the hard.
And we're fortunate. And we're fortunately because ABCA is at the table now with the local legislation to rewrite the MWBE language. So here comes an opportunity for us to get it right. And
Once and for all.
And for it to be long lasting.
So you have support for that in the
We have
legislature?
support.
I think we do.
We have the support. We were invited to the table to help them
Yes.
draft.
And there's something we missed too as activists. Okay, lowest most responsible bid, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the prime is.
Yes.
But first of all, he should be made to be pre-qualified. Because who says just because he's white, he's qualified to do that job?
That's right.
Certified the minority guys, right?
Yeah, right.
Make both of them go through the process.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
pre-qualification for the primes and certification for the minorities. And the pre-qualification included his ability financially and his skill set. So if I'm gonna be a bridge builder, I gotta show I can build bridges, and then I gotta be pre-qualified at a certain dollar amount that I could bid on. Maybe it's 50 million. And if they go 50 million, I can't bid on it because you're looking at my financials. And of course, the DBEs are certified because they're minorities, and you have to historically say they're not financially equipped, except that they have a cap on it, 1.5 million in net worth. Okay? So if the prime has to submit to the owner that they are the lowest most responsible bidder. So what happened when a minority contractor, such as the bricklayer, said, "Okay, I want to bid on that job with you, the prime." So there's an engineer's estimate, right? There's an engineer's estimate. The engineer got his pistol so sharp you blowing it a brick, right?
Right.
Okay. So why aren't the prime contractors held to the same standard when the minority bid to him?
Yeah.
Say the job worth $150,000. He gonna say he gonna bid shop you for one thing.
Yeah.
The other bricklayers, then he gonna say, "Hey, look here, man. Lee bid it 75,000. You bid 50. I give it to you." And damn well you can't do that job for 50,000.
And we know that for a fact. What you just said, Lee, we're one of our members. We're one of our most important members. She's an iron worker. She bidded a job, and she bidded a job, and she won the job, and then they bid shopped her, and then they sold her down the river.
See, that's against the law.
Did nobody stand up for it? And they gave it to the person. I think it was 300 less. So now we don't know if that 300 went to that contractor's pocket, hard work, but we know she did get a letter in the beginning of all the bids that she had won the job.
I think IDOT had the best infrastructure
I've heard that.
they did.
Yeah.
Not that they applied it,
Yeah.
not that they applied it,
Yeah,
but they had the best infrastructure for what we're talking about. It would be
Yeah.
good to mimic what they're doing.
okay.
It would be good to mimic what they're doing because they had now Lester Woods was the guy in St. Louis, right?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was everything.
Yeah.
But guess what? I thought you got 9 district with 9 EEO officers. You got a small business enterprise. You
Yeah.
got the Office of Business and Workforce Diversity. And you got a monitoring program set up in IDOT. Infrastructure wise, it's the best.
Right.
Do they employ it? No.
Okay.
It's not.
How is that so?
What you mean?
They don't employ it. So they have, you say they have the best, but then it becomes an oxymoron because then you say they don't do it.
No, it's not oxymoron. It's what they're not doing. You have to make them do it. You have to make them. If I know that as EEO officer, I can evaluate the contract at the end of the year, I should evaluate them based on not subjectively, objectively, numbers. Did you meet your goal? And if you didn't meet your goal, did you give me a good enough reason on the I'm talking about workforce? Executive Order 11246. Are you familiar with it?
Well, not for Illinois, but we have something similar and we fight that all the time. They have another word on there called good faith effort.
Yeah.
Did you
Well, that's universal good faith. What I'm saying, Executive Order 11246 means something. It's a federal law under Title VI that you guys should make sure you do. And it's got 16 affirmative action steps that a contractor must meet in order to get a waiver. He got to say exhaust those and say, well, he did all the 16 affirmative action steps. Okay, wow, he did it. But guess what? They don't do that. They just said I couldn't find any this or that, and that's the end of it.
And I guess now at this present time, the DBE program nationally is on hold.
I know 23 states
Yeah.
enjoying under that Kentucky and Indiana ruling by a federal judge.
Yeah.
And here we go again. We got to fight again.
Yep.
Fight all over again.
And I'm sure there's
And
going to be
Missouri,
some
too.
rewrite there somewhere. It has to be because before when you talk about certification, the most nervous thing that came up is women-owned business.
Mhm.
That's a threat to minorities.
Of course.
And how do you get around that? That's what they're looking at with the DBE program. Because they came up with the SBE, that's their answer to replace women.
Mhm.
Is SBE,
What's SBE for?
small business enterprise.
Okay, it's a different thing at IDOT because small business enterprises actually oversaw the program to make it efficient. SBA at Illinois, and Illinois is good. And then they created. Here's the deal. I employ all groups who are about this to find somebody. Not that you don't know it, but there's some people that really understand these rules and regulations. Because under IDOT, under MoDOT too, they're all federal. There must be what they call a DBE liaison. This is Federal Highways who gives at least 90% of the money to these DOTs.
Yeah.
And you must have a DBE liaison who has unfettered access to the secretary on DBE matters, which it's not involved right now, but I'm just saying. And that person is the person that has the power to go and make this thing work if they're not on the take and, not going to do it right. So we had a black female in Illinois, Robin Black was the chief of staff to the secretary. And she made OBWD, the Office of Business and Workforce Diversity, and she declared that all EEO officers were DBE liaisons. And we didn't report back to the district that we worked for. We reported right back to OBWD. That gave us more power. We were able to do some things, but still, subliminally, it wasn't good for you to actually exercise your power. Because it was just institutionalized, systemic racism.
Right.
And I was one that didn't do it, and.
So then what you're saying to us is it would be best as we're on this journey to help rewrite it, that there should be some way for us to have a liaisons into the SLDC. What would you call it?
That's what they had at IDOT.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, somebody who
Look at
could.
something new.
Because the director is not going to speak to us. Once he gets his marching orders from the mayor,
he's not going to speak to us anymore. He first, when he got in there, Neil Richardson got in there, he spoke to us, our concerns. But then all of a sudden, he got his marching orders and we got cut off. But I can see where you make sense when you say you should have somebody that is a liaison to that organization. That's the word I was looking for.
Or liaison to the authority.
To the authority.
That
should be able to have the
Yes.
power to go in on these matters and discuss it with whoever's in charge and straighten out stuff. That's where it was set up. And they try to kick it out, but OPWD still exists. And the best thing about it was we had EEO officers. Somebody who was in charge of looking, besides the liaison, but it's tentacles. Somebody who was out there looking at all of this stuff and reporting back.
And it's
What
strange
power?
because on our way over here, we were talking about that. Because there needs to be a person that is the liaison to the mayor to make sure that those initiatives are being taken care of over at SL.
You can check this out. You know what I was proposing too? A citizen review board, just like on the police. Should have a citizen review board who sets, people from the community and some officials that sit and look at when these bids. You say I got a blanket 25, but look at all of that stuff. And
Well, we definitely know that we want more MBE participation on these boards. We definitely went to Karen. Now we have not been able to speak to Shar Jones, Mayor Jones, but Karen knows that APCA want to see MBEs on these boards. You having people on these boards making decisions about MBEs that are not ever even been in an MBE company and never have even tried to run an MBE company or any other company for that matter goes. So we want people on those boards. Now we understand that the board has to be made up of diverse of people, but at least have some of us to represent us.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And what you don't know right now, Lee, is the mayor is restructuring her MWBE program. One of the things we want to do is to ensure that there's true certification of those firms. We do want to create a separate board, a citizen board made up of contractors, Black business owners, a true board that can.
What is it going to take to get that done? Because I think that's
We're
important.
doing it now.
We're doing it
now. That's why we're
doing it.
How's it been received from some of your legislators?
We haven't gave it to them yet. We're working on it, and we're gonna hand it to.
But I know you got to know this. Some know about.
We got some supporters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got some support.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah, we
about.
got supporters. Yeah, so some pretty strong automatic people who asked us. Matter of fact, asked us to get involved with it. Put a language together that'll work for us. Because we had somebody to put the language together that was going to almost end when the certification.
And it's just like you said, Lee, you got to have somebody that knows those rules and laws.
Right.
The person we're talking about is that confident with it.
And I just think that you guys are strictly talking about city work, and you guys not including MoDOT in this thing.
Oh no, APCA did reach out, and I'm always careful about using that acronym. But the African American Business Contractors Association did reach out to the rest of the state and the Black Caucus, because the state, before the mayor and the governor, before he left, he wrote an executive order to do away with the diversity program.
What are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do?
We've joined forces.
You can just see his brother got red.
We joined forces with the state
Kansas
chapter
City,
of the NAACP. We form a task force, and we're looking at different ways to approach it. We know it's
Are
going
you guys collaborating with Illinois?
No, yes, yeah, we just
We were going to announce that on on your show.
Yes, that we just reached out and they helped march with us.
It was Don.
Last
I
month.
didn't think Don Johnson was at our protest, and we've been talking about. And I talked to Pat Clark today,
Okay.
and we want to join forces.
So we're collaborating, right? We have
That's
to.
another way that they destroyed us is because that plantation divide and conquer, and we want to come out of this. So we're going to arrange a meeting. I'll let you know when.
Okay.
That we're going to come together, Illinois and Missouri. You know, your governor is a more black folk friendly to some degree. This cracker over here in Missouri.
The thing about this governor with is when that stuff came down the pipe, I got a phone call, and it was on the 2 states. And I think that out of transparency, and if any person in the leadership should have came out and talked about that, he never did. And no one is talking about it now.
Yeah.
You need to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is talking about abolishing that. It wasn't a perfect system. You're talking about abolishing any hope for African Americans to do any work.
Period.
Yeah.
Or take and and what we have to look at it from a standpoint of our age and being men that did get some education. You made a whole country by saying no taxation without representation.
Yeah.
You made a whole country. You kill people saying you're not going to take our money and not share the wealth.
Right. That's
But
right.
now you want us to do the same thing. Now you're going to take our money and not share the wealth. No, we have to fight it. And we have to start it at a grassroots effort, just like you said. We have to somehow incorporate our youth, get them to hear that this is you. They selling you down the road.
And the thing to me, man, I tell you, man, and it might sound contradictory because I'm not a religious man. I wanted to be a preacher when I was 30 years old, and I read the whole Bible.
Yeah.
When I read it, I said, damn. Something's wrong here. I talk to pastors and I say, what is a Jew? They don't know. A Jew is not a race, but they've
No, it's not a race.
it's not a race, but they put that out there. Like Trump said, they was taking boys in the morning when they go to school and come back female, and they got away with that. So they're getting away with claiming that a Jew is a person's race. It's the person who studied the Torah, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible.
And it's a name. It was a name given to him. But the point I'm seeing here is from our point of view is that we can't let up. And we're gonna need your help. We're gonna need East St. Louis, just like East St. Louis gonna need our help.
What I was trying to allude to was that these pastors went out to get up. Where's the activist preachers at?
That's a good question. And I'm a religious man.
They scared them out there. They killed King and a whole lot of other.
Okay, but here's the thing. What I say.
They just want that check.
Here's the thing I say. I found out that the people who profess to be Christians are the most cowards. Because if you got the armor of the armor of your Savior, then you should be relentless.
Yeah.
God don't like a coward.
Well, I tell you what,
I ain't no coward. I'll get on the battlefield.
I formed the District 8 Purging Task Force when I first got in at IDOT. And I got the most prominent path at that time in this area to join. They didn't do anything.
Let me tell you what similar.
And it wasn't for me, it's for the young people.
Oh,
Those guys.
yeah.
Let's be honest, right there, I almost cried. They didn't get a damn thing.
Yeah.
A similar thing happened in St. Louis with the school system. The superintendent was thinking just like you were. Well, let me get the pastors together, and I have the superintendent's pastoral breakfast every Tuesday morning at the school. And it went on for about 3.5 years. And the superintendent shut it down. And so I asked him, hey, what happened with the pastor's breakfast? Or you guys just walked away, you left it alone, or you accomplished your goals? He said, Mr. Jackson, we didn't do a damn thing. It was a waste of time. All we did was have a good breakfast.
Lee, we hadn't talked in a while. It was me, you, and Dory on the line, and you said how you were on Obama's campaign. And what's the brother's name? I can't think of his name. You knocked on his door.
Oh, Charles Cohen.
Reverend Charles Cohen. Those type of reverends are gone.
But you know what? It goes back, like I tell my wife, she said, what are they doing about this? What are they doing about that? Other people, for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
Has there been any major legislation that benefited us that was brought by a politician?
No.
It was brought by activists, right? Even slavery,
Yeah.
civil rights, all that.
Yeah.
So it's up to the people to tell those pastors, get your butt out of that pulpit and come down there and march with us. And if they don't do that, why are you in the church?
We'll pull you off that pulpit.
If you're going to do that, why are you in the church?
Yeah.
I
Keep
can
them
tell you
asleep.
Mike McMillan, the president of the
I know,
Urban
Mike.
League,
No, Mike.
then you know about his Saturday program with the church, with the churches. What's it called? Grill to Glory. And it's been going on for almost 3 years. They just shut it down. And if you ask were they successful with their objectives with it, they couldn't tell you.
Well, if we study history, the movement came out of the church.
Came out of the church.
Yes.
They don't want that type of preaching no more. They pay these preachers.
But the preachers, you can pay the preachers, but what about the congregation?
They speeches are to keep them asleep. Because back in the day, King was just the one that was out front for them. All of them had fire in them. That was down there.
That's when we had, even though King was the leader, but he still instilled a movement because it was the young kids who went to jail in stadiums to make sure things went down.
That's right.
So we got to get back to that, man. But we haven't. I'm not going to give up on kids until we've got to them and explain. Have them get on and sit down and listen for a minute.
Right. Yes.
When they reject it, then I can say let's give up on them.
Yes.
I can only tell you by what I view, and I have in my particular profession calls for young men.
Mhm.
I mean, it tote that barge, lift that bell. You ain't got nobody that ain't no man out here trying to do it. And yes, you are right. There are some of them that did vote for some Trump. There are some that just said the hell with voting. It don't do nothing for me. But I can say this without a shadow of a doubt that when it comes to the youth of the day, they have their mind fixated on one thing, and that's cash. And they look for self gratification and instant gratification, and that's where they're at because they see all this instantly, and that's what they want. That's what they seek. You know what I mean? Now, how you get a hold of that, Lee? I can't tell you.
We got to try.
No, I know we got to try. I'm just saying. And then, as far as these preachers go, I'm a bricklayer. I keep coming back to that since we started. If there's 15 churches, big African American black churches in St. Louis, I bet I built 7 of them. And all these churches now want what he said, bigger churches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we got it. You know.
And so they can sold themselves out for the cash.
You know, there are some studies that show that American youth are less and less religious. They're not believing in that.
That is exactly right.
We got to capture those guys and say, okay, where are you going to go with that? And try to get to them.
Yeah.
Both my sons are that way. And I raised them in a Baptist church. Took them, drug them. I got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm a deacon in the church. And you know what, Dad? That's old stuff. That man,
I'm gonna
that's
give you a wake up call. They just ain't in Christianity. I was raised a Muslim. That generation behind me,
man. I got
that's
time for that.
religious. Because the reality they see in America, right?
There you go.
Get back to what you said, Lee. Their heroes became that rapper, and it was about Gene, Gene, Gene. The musicians in our time was delivering a message.
Right.
You had a message at the mosque, you had the message at the church, and then here's Stevie Wonder giving a message. Here Curtis Mayfield giving a message. The preachers
Staples
dumbing them down, and the rappers got the sisters twisting, become little young We on a program, Little Young Horse, right?
Yeah.
And about the money and the dope dealer. So the man who called himself a Jew who runs this industry made sure there'll be no more Curtis Mayfield. There'll be no more Motowns. There'll be no more
But you can
Philadelphia
remember,
International.
rap started out as conscious rap.
It sure did.
And they got stories about some rappers said that the people who were in charge of the money and producers and people who could promote it said, look, we don't want to hear that. Yeah, we got something that we know can sell. And not only does it sell, it destroy their communities.
Yeah.
And that's when they came with that old crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They got black kids saying it's all right to say nigga, but not nigger. They call it the hard ER.
Yeah. And I get and the one who they love, Tupac said, and I said, did I hear that wrong? Let me rewind. Not nigga, or some old stuff.
It's all right.
It's all right
It's
to
like
say
that.
that. So Tupac,
We got some work to do, man.
yeah, we got.
Oh no,
They got
you got a lot of work to
They
do.
got baby.
And Lee, it's gonna be just like what Mikhail said to me, Jeff. This is not about religion.
It's not.
This is about saving these babies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And these babies don't see what's coming down the road. You got every nationality in the world coming here making money, and now they're and you know what did Martin Luther King say? Rise and tide, raise our boat. Well, we rise the boats and we taking on water. You know what I mean? And that's what we see. And that's why these three men here, and that's why other groups are behind us that are fighting this, saying, no, if this is my last hoorah on this earth, it's gonna go down fighting.
And I'm with you on that, man. I do everything I can to help you, man. I'm committed. My mother told me when I was a little boy, Sarah, right there.
Yes, sir.
She left me when she was 36 years old.
Oh my
But she told me something. She said, she talked about, she came from Macomb. And my daddy came from Clarksdale. My mother told me she watched this respect for black men and women, particularly the men who stood up. And she said, if you ever be in a position to affect the quality of life or life itself for black people, she said that job is ordained by God.
Yes.
So what?
Yes.
And they made me city manager in East St. Louis. And the police chief would let them beat up black folks. I fired him. They fired me.
You know what motivates me certain things
I
is
fired him.
Yeah.
One of his leaders, I heard him say it, and that's Muhammad Ali. He said, your service to others buys you a room for tomorrow.
Mhm.
Man, I want my room.
Yeah.
I want my room.
And
I'm fighting for my room.
Black people got to step up, and like Mikhail said, I don't care. Like, I criticize Obama. Don't criticize that my piece with Obama. I was his Southern Illinois campaign manager.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I went against my political party to be for him. And he said it was against reparations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So I was invited back to the White House in 2016 when he was leaving. I said, brother, you only came to East St. Louis Illinois 8 times in your 8 years. That's 1 time a year. You let the biggest program that could employ people in Illinois, let Missouri snatch it. What's up with that? And basically he said he's gonna do more when he get out of office. I said, how can that be when you're the leader of the free world?
Amen.
And you got no power. And people, they love him with his suit, and he wore his suit and the glasses.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
cool.
He
And
was
Michelle
cool.
didn't have no arm sleeves on her shirt.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
We got to fight, man.
And he can holler. What's up?
let's I'm committed to help, man, in any way I can.
Well, I'm glad you said that,
I
man,
am
because one of the things we need is keeping the word out there. Our Facebook page is the best way to get in touch with it. But we also have an email address of ABCA, AABCA .media@gmail.com.
Okay.
And it's we're looking at on our page when you first bring it up, of course, because we want to be self-sustaining and we don't want to be beholden to anyone.
Yes,
We
yes.
have, we have places on there where you can make donations to AFCA, such as Cash App. It's on the website. Zelle is on the website. However, and whatever you can contribute to AFCA, it'll be much appreciated.
Mhm.
So we don't have to rely on anybody else.
Let's make a commitment here. I'll make a commitment. Every 2 weeks, let's sit down and talk.
I love
Oh,
it.
that's a commitment.
I love
Yes.
Thank you. I know you said it too, but I would like for you to take it a little further.
Mhm.
Get the brothers over here organized.
I help you with that.
Yes, we want to sit down with them and have,
Yeah.
we know,
Yeah,
have a
one
breakfast
major-
or whatever.
You left a one major group when you said come together. You said you've talked to Pat Clark and somebody else. We got to get to the black legislators too,
Yeah, I
and the
agree.
black elected officials too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
We got like you said, we got,
I don't know who they all be here.
That's
We
what
gotta work
we'll help with that.
you know, I'll end with this for me. I was sitting at home one day, and I ain't prejudiced. I am not. I grew up in the 60s in all white district.
Right.
Life was good. I didn't find out about black and white till I got in the workforce. But that's side the point. But when I see my mayor jump up there and say, Bonnie Diaz, I got a problem. I got a problem, Lee. I mean, you know, I'm saying, when I see my leader down here with all this money, and I go look at North St. Louis and she's talking about Bonnie Diaz, I got a problem, Lee.
Yeah.
The 42% of the population in city of St. Louis is what? African American. 44%, no, 51%, 51 or 52% of the population in city of St. Louis is white. So they're still the majority, and we're still the second. So if you look at the population of Hispanics in city of St. Louis is not even 2%.
And she's saying what?
Yes.
But we got to get to those citizens too.
Yeah.
Not only the
Trying to count them.
but we have. I'm not. It's not even.
But you just set a program out there for them.
But what I'm saying, we got to even talk to the mothers and things out there. They don't understand this.
No.
They don't understand economics.
Yeah, talking about the black.
That's
brothers.
right. They don't understand the
They don't
economics.
understand that crime is
Desperate
relative
people do
to,
desperate things.
the lack of economic opportunity.
Yes.
I'll never forget Richard Pryor told his joke. He said they was on the corner, and the police came out and said, "Give me that corner. You gotta get up that corner." And so when the police turn around and come back, you better be gone. And they missed this in his joke. He said, one of the guys said, "Man, F him, man. I'll be here all night. If I have to go to work in the morning," you know what I said?
Yeah.
If I have to go to work in the morning, I'll stay here.
Yeah. He had a job.
Okay, we got to get these brothers some work, man.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
I remember that joke.
Yeah.
I remember that joke. Yeah. He sure did.
We got-
And he also said, and he warned them, they're gonna get them some new ends.
Yeah.
Didn't it? He said they're gonna get them, and this was like 76.
And we are so disconnected with each other, man.
Yes, we are.
The young folks and
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
we are.
disconnected. When I was in college, the University of Illinois, and they had 63 full and part-time students. 63,000. I went there in 71. We got over there as young kids, teenagers. We formed our profession in Swahili. There was a revolution in Africa called Maji Maji. Now, the word Maji means water, but anyway, we used that to mimic that revolution. And we found out that they had activity fees. And our activity fees were put into the white children's activity fees. And they had corn bashes and things like that. That ain't our culture. So as teenagers, we petitioned the university to take our funds out, and we formed that organization. We saved term papers, we saved books, we saved old tests for the incoming freshmen. We were teenagers,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we were black.
Yeah.
We came together.
Yeah.
We got to teach that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to teach the kids. I had a nephew who didn't understand racism. I tell the kid when I go teach him in school, do you know racism when you see it?
Yeah. I have to remind my sons that.
Do you know it when you see it? You don't know, you know what it is.
My youngest son has a problem always saying, well, he'll see something on the job site that isn't right. And they'll say, go back and fix that. And then he'll use this saying, well, they didn't make that white contractor go back and fix it.
Mhm.
You don't see the difference?
True story, Lee. This situation happened to me in St. Louis, and I was totally oblivious to it. But one of the older persons kept calling our mayor, who was white at the time, a racist. And I supported that white mayor. And I was able to get a lot of things done through that white mayor. And so finally, I'm sitting in this black alderman's kitchen, and the subject came up again. And I straight up asked her, I says, why do you call Mayor so-and-so a racist? I don't think he's a racist. She said, do you know what a racist is, David? I said, I think I do.
Right.
She says, well, I'm going to tell you. And then you tell me. A racist is a person who stops, prevents, or hinders the economic opportunity for a race of people. And she hit it nail on the head, because I knew he's done that.
Yeah.
That's the first time that smacked me. And I went to school up at Mizzou, which was at that time the most racist place you want to attend school in the black. But when she said that to me, it registered. I never forgot it, and I respect her, and she's my mentor today.
Let me ask you this, and she's correct. And that mayor was white, probably, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What happens when a black one is doing it? What do you call it?
I was thinking the same thing when he said
What
that.
you call them? A Benedict Arnold or racist because they're unkind?
I just think they're selfish. I think they're selfish with greed.
I wish
But
that's all they
but the
was.
people in St. Louis should straighten that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And you got to explain enough to the people. I used to tell people, I used to work for my officer in East St. Louis, and people come to the city.
Well, you had some pretty high people.
But what now?
You worked for some or around some pretty high
Oh
people.
yeah, man, I got a pretty good, I got a pretty good resume
Yes, you do.
in my 72 years on this planet.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like him, but I always thought the brother was solid.
Carl.
Yes. I'm a young man. I'm only 62. So, y'all got to excuse me. He looking at me like he finna hit me. I thought he was from.
We'll do a whole nother thing on that, but I tell you this, his promise,
Yeah.
because his dad was, historically a big time name in East St. Louis, the funeral home and everything, and because he was elected, there was so much hope. There was so much hope.
We always got that.
We got so much hope, and as a purchasing director, I've witnessed personally vendors calling and saying, since that guy's in office, wipe my debt off. Go within high debt. Someone say, wipe half my debt off. We ready to do business with this place. It didn't work out that way because he wasn't about that. He wasn't about that. I was there for 10 years. And I was struggling with my young family. And we made a pact, the department heads, that if he made a certain move, we would walk. He did, and we walked. I walked off the job, started driving my dump truck called Dirt. Because this guy had the opportunity to turn that city around. And his opportunity was bigger and better than any other mayor since
Yes, it was.
He had state, he had everybody behind him because they thought that he was the one, but he wasn't. And we can get into that some other time. I was there.
Well, that's what we see here. That's what we see in St. Louis now. Is
That's
she have the chance to really do something special, but it became cronyism and nepotism. What they taught you, you continuously.
And you know the thing about it with Carl, and I debate him on it anytime. The people believed in him, just like they did Barack Obama.
Yeah.
How many federal judges did he appoint more federal judges than 2 or 3 of the white presidents? No. He was against reparations.
And when his attorney general came to Ferguson and said racism is alive and well in the United States, Obama called him back to Washington. 2 months later, he retired. Every time Obama had a chance to give us,
Why didn't he pardon Jack Johnson? There was a black lady who went to prison on a nonviolent criminal drug deal, and they begged him for 3 or 4 years to pardon that lady. Trump did it. I'm not bragging on Trump, but Trump also pardoned Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Yeah.
And especially your last 4 years.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to lose.
I just don't get
You
it.
know, look, I'm gonna tell you right now.
And you see my pictures there with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, and all I can tell you, my brother is I don't want to be vulgar, but my wife think he's the cat's meow. She just thinks she hear his name and she just get happy.
Well, let me say this and maybe think. That's what they thought about Jack Kennedy. And he wasn't the one that gave us civil rights.
No, it
It was
wasn't.
Johnson.
It was Johnson.
Johnson.
A person
That
was an
cracker.
all racist.
They used the N-word. They rolled off. But when you went in black folks' house during our era, they had Martin Luther King,
John Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy.
and Robert Kennedy.
And that Smokey even wrote a song.
Abraham, Martin, and John.
But I tell you something, who's getting away with murder.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln. One of
Yeah.
the biggest racists that ever.
If he could have
Enslaved
stayed
him.
without free woman, he would have done it.
And where did Obama open up his campaign? At
Yeah.
the Lincoln Monument.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lincoln tomb in Springfield.
And my brother,
We gotta get hip, but we gotta read, man.
we got to read. My brother was the assistant director to the Internal Revenue Service, and he's a devout Republican. And he talks about Lincoln was a Republican, and I'm a Republican. And all I do is say, you call yourself an educated man.
They call him the great emancipator.
Yeah.
Just go to Google this. We gotta go. Google racist comments by Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
Google racist comments by Mahatma Gandhi. How did King allow him to be his mentor? Mahatma Gandhi.
a lot of people don't know that.
He was a racist.
Who's the racist? He said that black people in Africa were just above the beast in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I didn't know
And oh yeah, but that was his man. He told everybody.
Well, I know this is his man, but I didn't know he was a racist.
Oh,
I didn't know
and
he
a
was
white
racist.
leader, and a black leader too.
Oh yeah.
But I tell my grandsons and young people with Chat GTP and the AI and with these computers, there's no reason you not to be informed.
There's
Yeah.
no
Instant
reason.
information.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta
No
take some of
reason.
it, but it's instant information, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So you got my good one. Let you guys go.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys coming, and we
Yeah,
got a
I'm-
commitment. We'll meet every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
And talk about some things and keep it going.
So, do you do this on a podcast?
This is a podcast.
I know that. So
YouTube channel.
I want the podcast.
I'll give you the information.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we can
Let me down.
I want to thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Can we put it on our social media?
Yes, sir. Let me make sure he's
Yeah, he
got
is.
engineer. Let me make sure he got everything right. Let me edit it
Yeah.
Okay.
and put some music behind it. And
And we got
Work your magic. Work your magic.
because he quoted, I'm gonna end it with this. My hero, Muhammad Ali.
Mhm.
I'm gonna quote the Christian hero of mine, Martin Luther King. He said, I wanted to be said that I helped somebody.
That's what he said. And I want no other stuff. Just say I tried to love somebody.
And I tell people that I do this because I love knowing that I'm pleasing God. Because we all could have got the bucks. Not that we don't want the bucks, but I feel good when I'm in battling for God. It just does something to me, and sometimes I'll be mad. Man, go for the money. It just you lose a lot of women that don't understand it, but it's just in me. I'm serving God.
Right.
That's all there is to it. And if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die on the battlefield. God willing.
On the front court, I leave it on the court.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, you definitely got a resume, man.
You definitely